Hello and welcome to another episode of Nerd Age. This is the show where we discuss everything nerdy. My name is Mick, and with me as always are my co-hosts Josh.
What's up?
Corey.
Hello.
And Jonah.
Hi.
We took a week off, so I'm rusty. Shut up.
Well, I was waiting for Corey to do something.
What?
Well, I don't know. Yo, or something.
No, that's just how I said
Yeah,
it.
just hello. So, okay, we're good.
Just keeping it real this
Nothing
week.
weird.
Nothing weird. That doesn't suit us. We're always weird.
True.
Got to give me something weird.
What?
Give me something weird.
I need something weird from you right now.
That's kind of weird.
Weird on three.
That was weird. That was the weird.
Yeah, okay. Nailed it. Yeah, what's going on, guys?
Not much. Just back at it.
yeah,
After a week off.
Yeah, 4th of July, so decided not to record. Yeah.
How was 4th of July for you guys?
Pretty basic.
Yeah.
Actually,
Did you see any fireworks, even though they were banned?
they were going off all week.
You heard them?
I heard.
in our neighborhood.
Did you see any, though?
No
No.
C, just here.
I mean, I could see the ones like out in Airway Heights.
Really?
Which is
Yeah.
which is like a place away from us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically another town. Another town.
Another town.
The
That's
next
the word I was
town
looking
over.
for.
But yeah, nothing too crazy.
Yeah, Bria was really sad that we didn't get to look at fireworks. That's her favorite holiday, weirdly enough.
4th of July.
She loves it.
She loves America.
Fireworks. She loves America. Thinks she mainly likes fireworks. And she is always sad when we don't get to see fireworks.
Do you guys like fireworks?
I mean, they're cool.
This is my take on fireworks. You've seen one, you've seen them all.
No, that's not true.
It is true. When's the last time
seen
you
a
saw
black cat?
fireworks and you were like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. It's like, oh, it's
I watched-
it's
last
it's
4th
the
of July.
sparkly one.
When I watched Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah, that's the only
Well,
one.
True.
Those
I
fireworks
feel like,
bomb.
so growing up, when we did fireworks at Uncle Bruce's house, like as a younger kid,
Yeah,
like
that's
that to
cool.
me was like the height of me loving fireworks. Now it's kind of like I enjoy seeing fireworks to see Maya's reaction kind of thing. So you're kind of, I don't know. But
See,
we've stopped buying fireworks, so.
my kids don't like fireworks.
Yeah,
So,
your
dog-
kids hate fireworks. In fact, yeah, I think I'm with Jonah. I think the greatest fun about it is seeing other people enjoy it. Because we've seen them all.
Yeah.
I guess I think that they're making new ones, but I mean it's just gunpowder and like colors and stuff, and so
that sounds pretty fun.
I think it's
Gunpowder
fun.
and color.
Yeah, I think it is fun.
Do you guys remember that episode of Malcolm in the Middle where they buy the Komodo 3000?
Yeah,
And it's like the biggest firework ever, and it like turns, like they fire it off at night, and it turns the night like completely into daylight.
Right, yeah.
They just go like
Did it-
instantly blind.
Yeah, did it say when you were supposed to get our sight
Buck
back?
said about 2 days.
Anyway, I don't really.
Yeah.
I was just curious. I don't really care. Like fireworks.
I
or
wouldn't
whatever
drive
to
out of
me.
my way to go see. I mean,
Yeah, we stay at our house and we sit on our roof and watch some that go off. That's about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, 4th of July is always great. Eating food and stuff like that and having fun. But that was last week. What about this week?
We got a lot to talk about.
yeah,
A lot of stuff happened.
tons
A
of stuff.
bunch of stuff.
In fact, maybe we should go into our next.
Do you want to go into our next segment?
Yeah.
Hey fellas, how about we round up some news? Nerd News Roundup.
I like that steel guitar.
What are we doing?
I've never heard something so beautiful in my life, dude. That was, I got a tear in my
made
eye.
You made that.
That voice was
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
gorgeous.
So just real quick, that's Jonah doing that. And
Oh, thanks.
and what inspired you for that? Were you watching like Toy Story 2?
I was laying in bed and I was like, we need to start doing more just segments on the show. And so I thought, we're doing the news segment. And then I was like, Nerd News Roundup. And I was like, well, Roundup needs to have like a banjo. At first I thought harmonica, but I didn't get a good harmonica sound. So then I was like, put a banjo to it.
So you
I was
have
like, I need some crickets. So I put some cricket
So you
sound effects
went
back
outside,
there.
found some crickets.
And then
Got some earwigs.
I recorded different voices for probably 30 minutes until I hit that one.
What were some other voices you tried? No, come on.
I'm not gonna do it.
There's gonna be a bonus episode behind the scenes where Jonah's gonna just.
We'll put that on our Patreon.
Yeah.
I ended up going for the low. It was a high.
Oh, good.
It was a high one.
That was the low one?
Yeah, that was
Okay, good. I'm
low
glad
one.
you went with the low one.
Anyways, our new segment, Nerd News Roundup, where we just round up the news that
This
has
is a
happened.
segment where we round up the news.
Exactly. Basically,
In a dirty way.
Nerd News Roundup.
Yeah.
So what do we got first?
We got whatever's on your list.
Oh, okay. Well, first off, Marvel What If trailer dropped, which is the animated Marvel series. I think it's coming to Disney Plus.
Yep.
August 11th?
I think so. Yeah.
I don't know.
I want to say.
Drop
I'm going
it,
to say August 11th.
So yeah, what do you guys think of that?
I think we were kind of split 50-50. Half of us liked it and half of us didn't.
I think it was more of a
75.
Was it
75%,
75-25?
I think I was the only one that did.
yeah.
okay.
Surprise, surprise. Jonah hated something Marvel. Am I right,
didn't-
guys?
Okay.
I didn't like the artwork. I thought it just looked a little off. It's fine. It's like the Archer series. Have you guys seen that Archer series?
It's nothing like the Archer.
It's nothing like the
Archer is,
Well, I'm saying
is
like
a
it's
lot
that
more like
2D.
2D.
Well, I'm saying it's
It's
got a
self-shaded.
similar
Have you seen the
self-shaded
Archer
similar.
series?
Yes, I have. But it's that similar, and I didn't like it. I didn't like that, and then some of the voices threw me off.
Okay.
That I didn't. The fact that everyone using Robert Downey Jr.
So you would have liked it better if they had
yeah.
the...
It just felt weird, but I'll watch it.
You think in
it just
context,
seems,
when you see it in the show, you might...
yeah, and I like
it
the
better.
concept of it. Like the best shot for me in the trailer was the zombie Captain America. That to me looked really cool, and so I'm like, oh, they can do different stuff. The other problem with me is, as you guys know, I'm not as caught up, or I don't remember because I only watch a Marvel movie once. I've never really watched one twice. So to me, it's kind of like I don't really remember the details of it. So what's different about it. I understand the Peggy Carter and Captain America. Yeah, that's totally different. But I'm just saying, to me, it's not like a huge thing that I'm like, oh, let's see what if something happened differently,
I mean, I feel like the concept of it is different enough where it's like, hey, this character is in a completely different movie. It's not going to be a subtle change that you're like, oh, they said this instead of this word and now it changed
I'm not
everything.
saying that.
But
I'm not saying they said.
I think
just saying.
it's a pretty clear concept that you're like, that didn't happen. Oh, that's
Right, like the
that's,
bad guy in Black Panther.
right. Saves
He's-
Tony
right.
Stark. That never happened.
He's a good guy.
So I don't think you need to worry
I
about
think he's
that.
a cool character. I think it's just a cool opportunity that comic books themselves do, where they just rehash different storylines and they just do their own story, in that universe. I mean, this is such a standard comic book strategy.
Yeah. Well, and there is
they're
actually...
just doing it in anime.
Yeah, there is actually a comic run of What If Marvel comics.
sweet.
So it's, yeah.
Did you like the animation?
I like almost all animation except for creepy kind of animation, but
I like Archer.
especially Archer. I don't think it looks like Archer. I think it looks different. Actually, it looked kind of like painterly almost. It's very soft with it was soft shading with hard edges
Yeah.
on the outside. So it's a little different. I don't hate it. But how can you jock something that you haven't seen? You know what I mean? I'm interested to seeing it, and I bet I'm gonna watch one of them and like one of them way more than the others, and there's gonna be one that I hate,
Yeah.
and there's gonna be. I mean, I'm sure it's being done by a bunch of different
Different directors and
studios
stuff.
and stuff like that. Yeah.
Have they said how many episodes there will be?
I don't think they did.
I don't know, but yeah. So I just think that it's cool to see different stories, and the more different and more original you can get, I think the better. I think the more creativity, the better. Kind of, we're gonna go over this later, but same idea with Visions, how they're getting different studios and different people to write original stories and stuff like that. There can only be positive things that come from that. More minds on the case, the better. So,
Well, what a segue, because that's our next topic, is the trailer for Star Wars Visions, which drops in September. now that one I really, obviously Star Wars, so I really liked. But yeah, what do you guys think?
I think that it's no. I'm not. Gonna
I didn't like the art style at all.
I think it was hypocritical because you're not watching anime, and all of a sudden, since it's Star Wars, now you like it. What's up with that?
What do you mean I'm not watching anime? I
don't watch anime.
Batman Ninja I watched.
One anime ever.
And why do I have to watch anime? I mean, I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT. Like, so
But you don't
I
watch
have
them
watched,
currently.
well, no, I watched some stuff on Netflix, the Castlevania stuff on Netflix. Isn't that anime?
So well, it's debatable. Anime is Japanese, but yeah.
Well, I'm saying like that. So, I mean, and I watch all the Batman animated stuff that comes out. So I do watch
So Japanese
animation.
Well, everyone does. Japanese animation, that art style, that's not a turnoff for you then?
No.
Okay.
And I've never said it has been. I mean, like, I love Batman Ninja, and that was like done by a Japanese studio.
They're actually working on one of the Visions ones.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
studio.
I've never said anything about
I
not
didn't say you
liking.
did. Why are you defensive?
So defensive.
Fight.
No, I'm just
Fight.
saying, why are you so picky about animation style? Was it just, what turned you off of, well, sorry, we're going to go back a little bit. What turned you off of What If so much?
The way the characters moved to me seemed
Okay, so the style,
awkward.
like the
It was
speed.
awkward.
Okay.
It's the same way with
So not the art style, the actual movement.
yes,
in
the
a
movement
piece.
of the characters, and that's
okay.
why it felt. That's why I brought up Archer, because it felt.
Sorry. Okay.
It felt like
Okay, we're
a
good.
little bit of how the Archer characters move. That to me,
Yeah.
it just looks awkward to me.
Awesome.
That's why I didn't like
I
it.
get that. Okay.
So
It just didn't make sense to me. I'm like, why are you so picky about art style? But it was really actually the movement.
it's the movement of him. Like
Okay.
that
Gotcha.
first shot where
Misunderstood.
Tony Stark is in the Humvee and he's like talking, and then the explosion happens, and
Yeah.
how he's kind of just laying on the like.
That is a very American
it was weird.
animation style.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually don't prefer it. I prefer Japanese animation.
So we're on the same page.
I know, that's why I was clarifying.
Okay, good.
Relax, bro.
Kiss and makeup.
Visions, this is what I'm most excited about
Yeah.
for this year. I don't think I'm looking forward to anything more than that. I'm excited to see what all these different studios can do. It does make me a little sad that they just are like not canon, and it makes sense, obviously. But it's like, man, it's just, I don't know. I wish that they could have tied it in so that it does make sense, like just a totally unrelated, different, galaxy or whatever, or a different like planet that's unrelated, and like that'd be cool. But it's not gonna.
Yeah, that doesn't
But
bother
it's
me.
super
though.
fun. I'm super pumped about it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the whole canon thing because it's like,
Well, what if you really like a character? I mean, as long as they're like being like, oh, one of them's super good. Oh, the fans really love this one. Oh, maybe we'll do more of that.
They'll just
But
kill off every character
but I
at the end of each episode.
But I feel
An
like
explosion
them making it
every
separate
time.
is kind of them being like, we're already getting out. We're already leaving, and they're gonna just, if something's super successful out of those, I feel like they're not gonna go back to it, which is sad to me.
I mean,
I like Japanese.
but they can still make more things within that universe. It's just it's not gonna come in and be like, oh, hey, Han Solo pops
hope-
in. Well, I guess in one of them there's actually legacy characters
I
on
think
Tatooine,
that's-
but it's not.
I think that's kind of why they did it, is because in one of the shots there's like Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Right. So I think if they have like a crazy story where Boba Fett's doing something insane,
Yeah.
then they can say like, well, it's not canon, I think they're
Right.
just doing it to protect
No,
themselves.
I know. It's just sad. That's all.
But
Well, yeah, there are pros and cons to having canon.
I could totally see them though, like if people, like you're saying, if people love this and this is like they're like, this is awesome, I could see them doing like season 2 where it's like the story's continued, or being like, hey, if they see like one particular episode, they're like, man, this people really like this character in this story. They're like, why don't we do an animated series, that takes place and furthers that story, or a movie, like an hour and a half
And I'm
movie
not
that
saying,
they could do.
and I'm not saying I want Luke Skywalker in anime.
yeah.
Asian Luke Skywalker.
I'm saying I want something completely different that maybe eventually could be tied into a future something else.
Right.
yeah,
Like, oh, there's this really lovable character that we really like in like Knights of the Old
Like
Republic.
a cat Jedi.
No. But okay. But anyway.
That's exactly what we were all thinking.
So how many were there? You guys remember?
There's 9 total.
That's so sick. Yeah.
Are they just going to be like 30-minute?
They have.
Things,
I don't
or-
think they've said what length is. They just call them short films. So
Oh, so it might be like a
Is it like
7-minute
anthologies?
or a.
Can you imagine if it's 7 minutes?
Is it like anthology stuff?
That's where I would get a
Yeah.
little upset because they haven't said anything. If it was like ends up being
There's
like a
9.
5-minute short, then I'd be like,
I'm
well,
not
it's
so
just like
excited anymore, boy.
that would suck. I'm hoping for like 30 minutes each.
per episode. Yeah,
Yeah.
24 like a.
It's
actual,
one season. Yeah, maybe one's a little longer. Because one of them, they're already making a book about it. So they're releasing a book, I think maybe next year based off of this character or whatever. So, I mean, they've already started tying in other media into it. So I could see it, even though it's not canon. I think out of all of the episodes, they're all going to be like standalone characters. There's one that's called Tatooine Rhapsody that obviously takes place on Tatooine, and they said it's like a rock opera, and so it's obviously going to have like Boba Fett and Jabba the Hutt in it. So
Yeah.
it's gonna get weird, guys. It's gonna get really weird.
There are some of them where it looks so cool, though. It's like very stereotypical anime. Like, there's one where the protagonist has like blonde hair. Or the one that really intrigued me was where they're like, this is a story about 2 twins on the dark side.
Yeah, that was
I'm
cool.
like, dude, that's so dope.
Yeah,
I'm pumped. That's so cool.
that one's gonna be like 4 minutes long.
Pumped about that. I'm gonna be so angry, dude.
Is this all coming to Disney Plus?
Yeah, it's September,
Okay,
so not too long.
cool.
Yeah. So I don't know, Mick. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I like anime. I'm not as
You grew up in Japan.
partly, yeah, for a couple
So
of years.
how do you feel about anime?
I like.
For those of you
yeah,
who
for
don't
sure.
know Mick, he is actually Asian.
Yeah, prove me wrong. Yeah, I'm definitely not as, I guess, well versed in anime as you are, Corey. Or I don't dislike anime as much as Jonah, but but no, I like anime. It's definitely a unique art style and animation style that I could see a lot of people not being interested in it, especially like more American audiences. But I've always really liked it. I mean, I grew up with Dragon Ball, Pokemon.
There's a lot of different
that type of
styles
stuff.
too. I mean, you look at the
Mm-hmm.
different like mock-ups and stuff like that of what they had. They're very different.
Right, like Death Note and Pokemon don't look anything alike.
Yeah, they're super different. Yeah.
Yeah.
But with the visions, like there's that one with like that astromech. It was, like, the drawings were like very like rounded.
Yeah.
Versus like there was one where it's like very stereotypical samurai style, very sharp edges, and so just the draw style for them are very different. So I think that if you don't like one, you might like another. So I think there's some hope out there for people who don't necessarily watch anime currently, but are open to Star Wars. I think that crossover creates a really good opportunity for people to be like, you know, their vision kind of widened a little bit. You know, I think that's really cool. And for people who really like anime and don't like Star Wars, this could be a cool crossover as well. You know, I think crossovers are awesome. So
I feel like maybe like 5 years ago I saw a like fan made anime Star Wars thing with like a guy in an X-wing.
yeah,
I think I saw it on YouTube or something.
Sweet.
But yeah, I
like
think
TIE
that those
Fighter or something
yeah,
like
or
that.
something like I can't remember exactly, but I think that it matches really well.
Well, and Star Wars has been doing the like the little what are those Galaxy of Adventures, the little clips they've done for like 3 years now.
Yeah.
Where they put on YouTube, which is more like anime style, like really short, like pieces of the prequels and the original trilogy and stuff like that. So it's like follows Luke Skywalker and it's reimagined stuff. They're really like a minute and a half, like they're really short, but they've been messing around with that kind of art style anyways. So I think it's kind of like that's how it started, and they're like, well, let's see how this goes. Kind of see if there is interest in it, you know. like you said, people kind of go to it that maybe don't watch anime, but go to it because it's Star Wars, and they're like, oh, this is really cool. So they're kind of trying to see what the interest is like.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how it does for sure.
Moving on to the next thing, The Witcher Season 2 trailer. I haven't seen the show. I know Corey has. But that dropped, as well as Josh said, the Witcher prequel animated show announcement that they're going to do on Netflix as well. So any of you guys want to have any comments on any of that?
Sure, yeah. I mean, obviously, I think we hit this before, but like The Witcher is not a kid-friendly show, / there's nudity and stuff like that. So just mind that. Besides all that, the story's really good. The action scenes are really sick. Our boy, what's his name again?
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill.
Superman himself.
Super cool.
Superman.
Superman himself. The ending of season 1 left on a spot that is intriguing and makes you excited for season 2. And so, nothing but looking forward to it, honestly, from my end. If you're not like, if you're okay to just like skip the bad scenes and just get past it, I recommend it. If you're an adult, it's a really good story and really fun. So yeah, I don't know.
Cool. Anybody
I'm excited
else
about season 2?
Have you watched the first season?
I watched like half of the first season. It was one of those shows that I liked, but I just kind of stopped watching and haven't really got back to it. So, but yeah, I love Henry Cavill, so I'll try to watch him in pretty much anything he's in. I haven't really played any of the Witcher games. I played a little bit of 3, and just that. What?
You just jumped into 3 and
Oh yeah,
screw 1 and 2.
yeah, of course.
Wow.
It only makes sense, right?
That's the same thing I've done. I watched Toy Story 3,
Oh my god.
and Iron Man 3,
Never mind.
The Dark Knight Returns.
Well, video games are
Rises.
easier.
Rises.
Video games are easier to do than movies for sure.
Yeah, but
Did you like the game? How much did you play of it?
not that much. I'm not a big is it like RPG style? Is that I'm not
Like Skyrim.
I'm not that into that style of game. So
There you go.
yeah.
So I'm the only one excited about season 2.
I watched the trailer.
Yeah.
I want to watch the first season because it does really look interesting. So I'll probably see if Melissa wants to watch it and kind of just skip through the stuff.
I mean, Cavill is awesome in it. He's really good in it. So just for that reason alone, I would
cool fight
I would recommend
scenes.
watching it. Yeah.
It's an interesting story because I haven't read the books or anything like that. I also haven't played the video games. So it's a fun, really cool ride.
Well, and so I watched the trailer and they use a Fleet Foxes song. That I was like, the version of it. I was like, this is cool.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
So I was like, so.
That got you into it. You're like Fleet Foxes.
No, but I was
in.
just I wanted to watch it because people have said that it's really good.
Yeah.
But it has been that one thing that I'm like, same reason I don't watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah. So there is I don't know what it is. It's like a website or something.
Oh, you can
like
go
that,
in and check, and it tells you where.
No, like they have a clean version of it. And man, it's killing me.
The Witcher PG.
Because they just straight skip. They just skip parts that have nudity in it. My Bree's cousin, that's how they watch it. That's how they watch Game of Thrones. Is they
was like
use
episodes
this
are like
website.
5 minutes
I'll
long.
have to research. I'll have to ask him. I'll have to ask him about it because
Makes
it was
no
an awesome
sense.
resource where they straight up watch full episodes and it skips just automatically, so you don't have to fast forward. You don't have to do anything like that. So I'll look into that. I'll have to figure that one out because that is a valuable resource. I wonder if they've done it for The Witcher. That'd be cool. But anyway,
we can move on. That's fine.
I just wanted to say real quick, speaking of Cavill, did you guys see that thing he posted to his Instagram that he's in the new Matthew Vaughn movie, Argyle? Mm-hmm. I know nothing about the movie. I just saw the poster or the little picture from it. It looked pretty cool. So whatever that is.
Nice.
or whenever that's coming out.
Probably like 3 years from
Probably 3 years. Yeah.
Next thing, no one cares about this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Zack Snyder announced his next movie with Netflix that he's working on called Rebel Moon, which is basically a pitch that he had given to Star Wars of him doing a Star Wars movie, a story that he had. And then when they years ago said they didn't want to do it, he was like, well, why don't I make it my own movie? So it's going to be like in space, a rebel planet that they basically fight back against
The Empire.
the Empire, basically. So Netflix is giving him the green light to do it. So anyways, I'm excited for it because it's Zack Snyder and it sounds interesting.
This guy. All right.
I like Zack
I got some
Snyder.
thoughts, guys, about
Rebel
Rebel Moon.
Okay.
So apparently he wants to build it out into a franchise, supposedly. So he's like, oh, they're building out all these stories. Okay, cool.
So the Green Lanterns show up.
The one thing that I'm like, whatever about it is that he's like, oh, it's inspired by Japanese Kurosawa movies. I'm like, yeah, that's Star Wars.
Well, that's what it's a Star Wars thing. That's the whole point.
Yeah, but this is the thing. If he's gonna turn it into, whatever the
Galaxy Wars.
no. Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be one of those knockoffs.
That was called Rebel Moon, guys.
But if he's gonna turn it,
Rebel
if it's
Wars.
gonna be that same story we've seen over and over again, is that what it is? Seven Samurai is the original.
Seven Samurai, like Kurosawa.
Right.
Yeah, stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like we've seen that a billion times across Star Wars.
It's a classic.
Right.
So if that's what he's doing, I'm not interested. And it sounds like that's what he's doing. Because why would I want to see a ripoff of Star Wars? Because he's gonna have more
here's the
slow
thing.
motion in it.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Adam gotta get it in.
Here's the thing. So
All right, moving on. Next topic.
everybody. So a lot of these directors were inspired by Star Wars and Kurosawa, like this whole thing, or Joseph Campbell and the hero's journey. So if you look at any director that's making a movie, they're following those templates. So for you to then be like, I'm not gonna watch this because it's following that template.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if he's focusing on the Seventh Samurai story, there's this village. These guys are gonna come in and they're gonna help them defend against that.
He never said it's the Seven Samurai story. He said inspired by Kurosawa, who did more than just that movie.
I know.
So what he's saying is when he did the pitch, it was, I have this story that could fit well in Star Wars because he loves Star Wars and he loves Kurosawa, so he did it. When Disney decided they didn't want to do that, then he said, well, I really like this story. Why don't I just make it myself? That doesn't mean that he's copying everything about Star Wars. That doesn't mean that a guy's going to come out with a light blade and be like, oh, it's a light blade, not a lightsaber. That doesn't mean it's going to be like
Laser
that.
sword.
It's just going to be like, it was inspired by that because he likes that aesthetic and view, but he's going to be his own story. So to me, it's like...
Wait, how early in development is it? Do you know? Like,
I think they just announced it's his next movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So they probably have already have the script. I think the guy that's working with him on it is fleshing out the world to do other projects or whatever.
Sweet.
But here's the thing. So if you watch Man of Steel and you look at what he did with Krypton, that was completely different than anything in another movie. Like, Krypton looked amazing. He's good at making aesthetics look their own and not a copy. He's not going to make something look like Star Wars. He's going to make it look his own because that's what Zack Snyder does. He's good at making things look cool.
But is the story good?
Oh, so it's a reskin, you're saying? Just a really good looking reskin.
No, what I'm saying is he's going to be creative. He's an artist. He's going to be creative.
That's fine.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Moving on, because y'all are haters.
No, he'll have really good music. Right?
Like some old
Sky
guy.
rockets in flight.
That's Anchorman.
That was a comment.
Anyway, Rebel Moon trash.
Rebel Moon is going to be awesome.
So it looks like
we'll
we have
see.
an
We'll
average
see.
score of 5.
Guys, it's probably going to be better than Star Wars. Y'all just hating. And next thing, Nintendo Switch
better than the
OLED was announced. Comes out in October. So a lot of people were wanting a new Switch announcement.
This is the one I'm gonna get. I'm gonna get the Switch.
This is the
I'm jumping into Nintendo with this
Nice.
Switch.
So Corey, you said you had some things to say about this. So
yeah.
the floor is yours.
Oh wow, thanks. Yeah, so we and also others were wanting a Switch Pro because who wouldn't? Who wouldn't want a Switch with better graphics and more power? But realistically, when you think about the size of it and stuff like that, you really can't fit in a giant, 3080 Ti graphics card in. Like, literally, my graphics card in my computer is bigger than the Switch. Isn't that crazy? The graphics card is bigger than the Switch. It's thicker. It's about 3 times thicker, and it's like an inch or two longer. And that's in my computer. So that's what it would take to have, like, optimal, amazing Unreal Engine graphics. So was that an unrealistic expectation? 100%. The problem is that all the media were reporting these rumors of a Switch Pro. And so now they come up with this OLED version. They added 1 inch or a half an inch on the screen size, something like that. But it's OLED. So the resolution isn't any bigger or any better, but it's just an OLED. So that means that the pixels are crisper and they're brighter as well. And so it's just going to look better. And I was thinking about it. I was like, you know what? It's $50 more. You're paying for a better screen, basically. And that's it. They have a couple little add-ons, like an Ethernet port. Is the onboard memory a little bit bigger, like a couple gigs bigger? I don't know. But there's a couple little upgrades. But it doesn't make much of a difference, really, one way or the other. So I think for the price that they're putting it at, $350, it's solely justified. And I don't know how anyone could be mad at it, but I understand where people could be disappointed.
Yeah, I think from the Switch when it launched, the memory is increased and the battery life is increased, which they have already. If you buy a Switch today, it's already better than the one that launched, basically.
Yeah,
they already did that.
Done 2 versions, and this is the 3rd version.
Yeah. But this is it has a new title now.
So yeah,
OLED whatever Switch. So.
Is that the only difference in the name? Is just Switch OLED?
It's just the OLED version. Like it's going to be like Nintendo Switch, and then
OLED.
Depending on Best Buy, they might have parentheses OLED.
Sure, yeah.
It's not anything.
Yeah. I imagine the box will look different.
Yeah,
they'll
just to try to distinguish.
It's got to just say OLED after.
Yeah.
And it's white as opposed to the black one.
Yeah, I think you can get the red.
Is it all white? Like even the controllers?
The Joy-Cons are white, yeah.
Oh,
and then the buttons are black. But it's like white and black.
I think you can get the red and
you can get
blue
the
version
red and
well,
blue version,
which was the launch one.
Oh, cool. So that was it was interesting because I was thinking about, well, why didn't they just say it at E3? I think they were dodging a bullet. I think they're trying to tone down the expectation and be like, if we put it at E3, they're going to expect and then be let down huge.
Right.
So they were smart about doing it. All right, we already did our releases and our announcements. Let's do it a month later, a couple weeks later, and lessen the blow, I think.
Well, the rumor was the Switch Pro right before E3. So if they come out and are like, it's a new screen, I mean,
they would have
lost it.
Yeah. So I think they did it right.
They would have had to be like, don't you guys all have phones?
God, don't bring me back there.
But yeah, I mean, I could honestly see them next year doing hey, we've got a new Switch with a better processor, or so, just anything for an upgrade.
I would say that it does. We're never going to get to Xbox and PS5.
No.
But some of the games that I've played, and I've said this before, struggle.
Yeah.
And so I think a little bit of a boost would be, I think, awesome. And it would help a little bit because it would help a lot.
Yeah.
Because when you have a game legit, it felt like 5 frames per second when I was playing that Minecraft dungeon game. That's probably the fault of the developer not optimizing their game for the console. So I'm not going to blame Nintendo on that. But it would help to have just solid, well, not solid 60, because that game system is not doing solid 60 ever. But solid 30, acceptable for a mobile game system, in my opinion. And that brings me to the other point that I was going to bring up, and I want to know your guys' opinions on it. But do you guys consider Nintendo being part of the big 3? Xbox, Sony, Do you think that they are competitors? Do you think that they're equals? Do you think that they're fighting?
I think they're beyond. I think Xbox and PlayStation are fighting each other, and Nintendo is, because so many people can afford to get a PlayStation and get a Switch. Like, so many people have.
If you can
A lot of people aren't getting. Well, that's the thing. A lot of people aren't going to get a PlayStation and an Xbox, right? But I think a lot of people, either PlayStation or Xbox, are willing to get a Switch because it's cheaper and it's different games, like Zelda games that you can only Mario games Mario Kart games that you can only get on Nintendo. They're worth. I mean, people aren't getting a Nintendo Switch to play Witcher on, right? Because they already have that on their other console.
Yep.
But the games that they are getting getting a Switch for are the Metroid games, Mario Parties, those kind of games, Zelda games, party games, those kind of things.
Yeah.
So I just think that Nintendo has its own lane where they don't need to get the graphics up to compete with, am I going to get Witcher 4 on PlayStation or the Nintendo? They're not interested in that.
So you don't think there's a person out there making... Oh, sorry. That was super absolute. You don't think that people generally make a decision, say, I could get an Xbox or I could get a Switch, and they choose Switch or they choose Xbox?
I think...
You think that's very rare
For me,
nowadays?
I pick Nintendo that's what I buy. So,
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'll
But
say
I'm
it for
saying,
this.
no, I'm asking, do people make that decision?
I think parents make that decision. If they're going to get a console for their kids, I think some people are picking, I'm going to pick a Switch or a Nintendo console over an Xbox, because if they have younger kids, the Switch is more, he's in the back seat of the car, he can just carry the Switch with him. So I think, I think
so. Anyone under 18,
yes, I think that's where I think Nintendo is making their mark. And even in the pandemic, the Switch sold insane. Like, so many people were getting a Switch.
Anything, home gaming.
And so I just think Nintendo kind of has carved their own lane where they're technically competing, but they're not really, because their games don't match up. Does that make sense? Yeah. Whereas Xbox and PlayStation, they have to get an exclusive games. Like, if you want Halo, you got to get the Xbox. There's certain things. So they're competing head to head. More so on the graphics and the memory and all that kind of stuff, whereas Nintendo's like, hey, the new Mario's coming out, and people buy it.
Well, yeah, to me, the Nintendo consoles, kind of starting with, I guess, the Wii, they seemed more like the family console for everybody, not just like, the kid in his basement playing Call of Duty or whatever. It's like, the parents can play with the kids can play with, whoever else. But I would say that I would put them with as a big three, because kind of what Jonah was saying, they have their own little section that the other two really can't or don't go to at all, and I think Nintendo does it really well. And yeah, I mean, I think their sales are, maybe not as good as the PlayStation or whatever, but like you said, last year they sold like crazy. I mean, that's hard to find as a PlayStation 5 this year.
Well, and I think even if you compare, like, in Japan and stuff like that, like, Nintendo is king, like, with a lot of this stuff. And even talking about handheld stuff, like Japan. The 3DS, like even the 3DS and stuff like that, like, PlayStation's tried to get into that market, and Nintendo just does everything better than that. So I just think Nintendo's kind of in a different lane. Does that make sense? Even though they're competitors, they're just doing stuff that's the other two can't. I don't know.
Think, Chip?
Big three, not competing directly against each other.
Okay.
All of them?
What?
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 Is a part of the big three?
They're part of the big three because they're the three biggest, gaming companies.
Are you saying just Nintendo isn't competing against?
I think they're not. I don't see them as a direct competitor because they're not going toe to toe to say this is the best graphics card.
Yeah.
That we're going to get you the best graphics. This is the most expensive game. It's like, hey, you guys, they made that decision with the Wii. They said, we're not going to get the best graphics. We're going to do our own thing, and they've been doing that ever since, and they're successful at it.
So I think we're all kind of on the same page here.
I would
least
say
closely.
that actually more of a competitor of Nintendo is mobile gaming, phone gaming.
I mean, the iPhone's the best-selling handheld game console,
right?
right?
No,
I
for
mean,
sure. You guys would be amazed at the money made from mobile gaming.
Candy Crush.
It is higher than console gaming.
Yeah.
Like easily, right?
It's
like,
not even
yeah, not even close.
No. You think $60 is expensive for a game? What a joke.
Yeah.
People drop thousands of dollars on these mobile games,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't even know that person did it. It's this secret, almost drug that is plaguing our society. It's crazy.
Preach.
It's crazy because it's secret, and you get addicted to this game.
I gotta buy those diamonds.
Yeah, or you want those Dragon Ball
$9.99,
Z
they're on
cards.
sale.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I think that Nintendo's it's not really a competitor because it's different. But yeah, that's more like mobile gaming than console gaming, in my opinion. But I think really the big three now is greater. Now it's like PC gaming, console, mobile. That's the big three now. And so I think that the company that's done the best job of conforming and kind of like adjusting to the new ages is Microsoft. I think they've done really well because they've basically dipped their hands in both pots, PC and console. And so I think they're doing really well. And they bought Bethesda out. So I don't know. But anyway, with the Switch, I think that it's good. I think that some people out there have valid points of being what was it, like 7 or 8 years ago, the PS Vita had an OLED screen too.
Yeah.
And they're like, where's Nintendo at? But it's like, they don't understand that. The only reason why Nintendo stayed afloat and succeeded now is by being inventive with their games and the mechanics of those. And so they have to stick with that. So anyone who has dreams of a Unreal Engine 3D super awesome Zelda game like me, the dreams have to die. Unfortunately, it'd be so bad. We were talking about it earlier, but yeah, I always wanted when I was a kid to have just this awesome like Horizon Zero Dawn version of Zelda, and that'd be really fun.
And I mean, who knows? I mean, that could easily be something in the next 10 years.
Yeah, sure.
It probably will be.
Before you die, it'll happen.
You promise, Jonah. But anyway, yeah. So that's so that was Switch OLED.
Yeah, I'll be getting that for sure.
Sweet.
Well, that'll do it for Nerd News Roundup. I think we're going to
do in the voice.
Yeah.
Can we get a whip sound every time we say
I
something?
thought about that. I was even thinking that.
yeah,
or
number
a
one.
spitting into a, in the bing.
Little
That'd be good.
spittoon.
Every time we go into the thing, we'll see what we can do.
I guess one more.
Okay.
It's
not over yet?
I want to give a shout out to my brother Dave. He sent me a very big and
This
expensive
isn't
Lego
Nerd
set.
News. This isn't Nerd News
not?
Roundup. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, never mind. Dave sent me a Lego set that I didn't even know existed. It's the Daily Bugle Marvel Lego set that comes with like 25 minifigures. It's like over 3,000 pieces.
That's insane.
Lego set.
Was it like 3 stories?
It's like a skyscraper.
I think it's like 6 stories or something. It's huge. I haven't even started it yet because I need to set aside like a good chunk for probably a couple days to get it done. But yeah, I'm excited. So thank you to Dave.
Yeah, you sent us the pictures, and I don't collect Spider-Man minifigures, but
you kind of want
like,
to.
I
right?
kind of want to start collecting some Spider-Man figures. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll post pictures once I get that done.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
So yeah. Anyway, okay, moving on to some Bad Batch. We got 2 episodes to talk about here.
Yeah.
So last week, gosh, what was the episode called last week?
So 2 weeks ago, it was Common Ground, episode 10. And then last week's episode was Devil's Deal. So, Choop, what do you think?
I thought it was good. Common Ground was basically on the Separatist home planet. The Empire's there trying to...
On Raxus.
on Raxus. And they're this basically they're trying to subjugate everybody, with the senator basically trying to agree, but he thinks it's wrong. So the Bad Batch goes in to save him. So I thought it was really cool. I honestly probably one of my least favorite episodes of the whole season, just kind of generic, I thought. But I like the animation's awesome. Yeah, there's a bunch of awesome shots in there with the walkers kind of going through the city. Mm-hmm. And
man, those things are slow.
Yeah. So I don't think it was my favorite episode, but I also like the story element of it, of the separatists kind of like, hey, the Empire's here, everything's good now, so we're gonna take over. Now you have to tell your people to basically listen to us. So I liked that.
It was good at world building, kind of where they are in the timeline.
Yeah, and I think I also liked the aspect of where the Bad Batch is like, we can't help a separatist. Right. We've been fighting against them. And so that whole aspect, I still, with the Bad Batch, one of the things I'm loving the most is how they're showing you how the Empire's taking over, because it's always been like, from the prequels to the original trilogy, you're like, wow, just like that,
like it just happened,
But this is kind of showing how the Empire kind of just comes in, is controlling the senators, all these people, is oppressive, and kind of how it's just becoming this control. So I really like that, and that goes into the next episode, which was you're now seeing that, happening on this other planet. And so to me, that's one of the coolest things about this show is just kind of showing you how the Empire is taking over, and I really like that.
Yeah. What about you, Corey? Did you watch the episodes?
I watched them.
Oh, okay.
He didn't like them.
I can't be as positive as you guys because I loved seeing O'Hara. That was really cool.
Jam. Chopper.
Love me some Chopper. But
she lost her accent, didn't she?
Yeah, she's younger.
Yeah.
She lost her French accent.
That's what I was wondering actually. Yeah. What happened to that accent? But anyway, okay. It's hard because I don't want you to destroy me on my opinion.
Hey, remember what he said about anime?
I do.
Baby. Say it, Corey.
I'm about ready to.
No.
Unload two cannons.
I felt like, I felt like the episodes I've already seen before. Does that make sense? I've seen these episodes in the Clone Wars, the same story, like at least 2 or 3 times. And yeah, you guys are going to rip me apart for that. But that's just how I felt. I felt like I'd already seen it. And I was like, all right, it's cool that they're like, Omega's like very like a strategist. And that was a cool little reveal. And that's exciting. But yeah, it just felt like I'm on this treadmill and I'm getting to the part that I've already seen before for these 2 episodes. And that's why these 2 episodes I'm just not huge fans of. I want to see stuff that's new, picky, entitled, whatever you want to say. But yeah, that's just how I felt. And I wasn't generally super interested in the episodes.
I mean, it didn't seem like it did, like to your point, it didn't seem like it really explored more of like the Bad Batch as they're like going forward with everything that's happening.
The ride, for the story's sake.
Yeah, I could.
I think they have to. So I watched a video of a guy that said the similar thing. He's like, I didn't like this episode because the Bad Batch shows up for like 3 minutes and then they leave, and you're just following Cham, Syndulla, and Hera and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, but I guarantee you in this next episode, they're going to rescue Hera. Like, they need to set up.
Of course.
The whole point was they're setting up this thing so that they can go and rescue, So to me, it's like that complaint, not saying that was your complaint. I'm just saying this person that put this on the video, I was like, well, you need to set that up because you can't just have the Bad Batch show up and then they're like, oh, we're saving that little girl. It's like they need to kind of establish what's going on this planet.
Like in the bigger picture, when you see all the episodes, it'll be more of a complete.
I like that part more than a lot of parts.
Yeah,
I love the moment that Hera had with Omega and the ship, and they're talking about piloting being a feeling, and there's them just kind of understanding each other and having that relationship kind of start. But no, it's really just comes down to the overall story of just being. I've seen it before 2 or 3 times. That's it. It's just these episodes weren't as enjoyable as other ones. That's all. That's all it is. It's simple.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I can see, I mean, what you're saying, because they have done. I mean, I think in episode 3 or something, they're on that planet.
Freaking
and the same thing's happening, and they have to get off the planet, and so I can see what you're saying. That to me, I didn't really. Maybe part of it for me was because I love Rebels so much, and like seeing Hera and Cham and what Alani is her mom's name, Alani.
I forget what her mom is.
But to be like, oh man, she's probably gonna die in the next episode because in Rebels she says that the Empire killed her mother. And there's a stained glass. That to me is why I'm probably like blocking out the fact that maybe I've seen this before, because I'm like, it's Hera, and I'm seeing her origins as how she's gonna get into the rebellion. So to me, that's what makes the episode so good. It's the same thing with Cad Bane, like where people are like, I didn't like it, but I'm like, I'm seeing Cad Bane again. So it's that's the element of it that I think my blinders are on to things I don't like because I'm invested in the characters. So it could be like something I've seen over and over again, but the fact that I'm seeing Hera,
like this show, it rewards the people that have stuck around through Rebels, through Clone Wars. Like
I've watched all those, and I still feel the same way. So for me,
what rewards me?
Absolutely, 100%.
But I mean, you've said before, Corey, that you like have forgotten a lot of like even who Cad Bane was, like that type of stuff.
Yeah, it was 13 years ago. Yeah, but I haven't forgotten Rebels. No, I have not forgotten Rebels.
Okay.
Yeah, I think for me, I think for me, it's like we said before, we're seeing how the worlds are kind of getting taken over. So I think that's something we haven't seen before. So to me, that's a new aspect of it. Like we're seeing them kind of come in.
We've seen that in episode, what was it, 1? No, 2?
Well, we saw how they were telling him to hand in their credits and stuff like that, but we weren't seeing how the government was reacting.
No. I mean the movies. What was the one where Amidala, like, her city gets taken over by them.
By the Separatists.
Yeah. But it's the same story.
Well, we're talking about Empire.
Yeah.
I think it's a little different.
It's different because we're seeing how...
Not really. It's
the Empire's taking over the whole galaxy.
Yeah. But on a small scale, it's the same.
Well, I think you're seeing an invasion. Like, you could say the same thing with, like...
That's what I'm saying.
But I'm saying, like... where I see it's different is...
Yeah, I get it. You're saying the big...
Right. You're seeing how the Empire... This whole story.
It's connecting...
Good.
It's connecting the whole story.
I get it. I get it.
So things are getting heated in here.
I'm moving hands,
Hands, we're like Italians.
Stay back.
So for me, I think that's interesting to me. I like that portion of it. And then the whole thing about Ryloth. We've seen Ryloth in the Clone Wars fighting against Separatists the whole time. We've seen Cham Syndulla as a rebel leader, and then you read about him in the books.
Yeah.
You see him in Rebels. So for me, this is like interesting to see his family and how he's trying to transition out of being a rebel fighter and accepting, like, okay, I don't need to fight anymore because the Empire's here.
Yeah.
But really, he still needs to make that decision.
Right.
And it's connecting it all to what we see in Rebels and what the original trilogy. So,
and real quick, the one interesting thing is the fact that they kill Orn Free Taa in this episode, but he's in Lords of the Sith. He's in that book, which takes place after. So I'm just curious as how they're like, people are already saying like, oh, well, the book's not counted anymore. Or
there's
what's
been
the deal?
Stuff in the past too that
but this is kind of one of a bigger,
books,
right? Because he's like a big part of that book, and so that's kind of an interesting thing.
Well, it's already happened too with Rebels because Cham's acts a little different in one episode of Rebels because when they wrote that episode, the book hadn't come out yet, or they hadn't done the book. So,
but looking forward to the next episodes. We probably got to move on to the next thing. Loki, the 2 Loki episodes. I don't have the names of those episodes, but I'm sure someone has them. Or people know.
You don't have to have the episode.
But what do you guys think of the Loki episodes? Corey just watched the recent one this morning, so he's got it fresh in his mind.
Nice.
What you want me to talk about?
The newest Loki. What do you think of the Loki episodes? Did you like them? Not like them? Are you excited for the finale?
I think it's good. I think what they've done is good in a general way. I'm not sure how they're going to finish this off with a satisfying ending. I think that it's going to be a not so satisfying ending. They're really making it like they like made this story super grand, super big. Like, dude, Infinity Stones don't even work, dude. These guys are all powerful. And then it's like, oh, it's just like it starts becoming tricks and like cheap things.
It feels like the man behind the curtain.
Yes, it's like Wizard of Oz for sure. Like, so that's my worry, is that the end result is going to be something not so awesome.
It's going to be Miss Minutes as the villain.
It was her all along, dude.
The little clock.
She's a little suspicious.
I like her. She's cool. Yeah, so that's the only thing I'm kind of like wary of. I'm just like, oh, you guys are the way they're going, and it's like, yeah, the relationships thing with the two Lokis, weird,
super weird,
and it's like, is it wrong to love yourself? No, I don't think so.
He is a god of mischief.
He is a narcissist.
Is that basically him being asexual? Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. It's a debate. I don't know. It's just fiction. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I think I'll have to go over this episode because last episode, it was whatever. But this episode, one of the things that really bugged me was when they had like all the Lokis go down to the like basement thing, like their hideout, and they all started like fighting, and it was like super cheesy in my opinion. Bree verbally said like, "Oh, that's bad," and I was like, I mean, she's not wrong. I didn't like it. The music was bad, and it was like just kind of a. Yeah, it was like a joke of a scene.
Yeah.
It was very like goofy, I would say. Yeah, it was goofy.
That episode, I really liked that world they were in. I thought it was really cool. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is a really interesting concept. Like that there's just people get sent there and they end up either getting killed or they're like hiding. Mad Max surviving kind of thing. Yes. And I thought it was really cool. And I thought they had really cool like Easter eggs of like different things from different timelines and stuff like that. But yeah, that scene to me was like, when that happened, I was like, this is so weird. And one of the things that I've liked about the series is the music. I thought it's been like, especially the opening sequence music and the end credits music and all that stuff. Like I've been like, wow, they've like done a good job with the music, which that's one of my complaints about Marvel is I feel like a lot of times the music isn't as great. But yeah, the music they were playing at that point and then how people were fighting was like just like
goofy.
Like
goofy, dude.
And then they make the original Loki or whatever makes like the fake guys and they're like kind of fighting.
Yeah.
It just felt so weird. Like just like you were saying, I was just like, that's like you're saying, that was bad.
Felt out of place. Yeah.
And they're all like turning on each other, and it was just like, oh, okay.
Sense. I like that part of it because they're all stabbing each other in the back because they're like
Lokis.
That's what Lokis do.
Yeah.
But yeah, the scene of them fighting was like, I like that part that they were. Oh, that makes sense. They all think they got a plan, but they're all backstabbing each other.
It is hard.
The execution of it was not good.
It's hard to write that, right?
Yeah.
Like when every Loki thinks they're the one, and then they're also backstabbing and untrustworthy, and they're supposedly following one. They're obviously not. Yeah. So the way they did it was not good.
And I do agree with you. My concern, like you said, it started off with them hoping like this is the most powerful thing in all the universe, and me being like, I originally said like the timekeepers control everything, so it takes away the stakes. And now it feels like as every episode's gone on, they've diminished everything to the point where it's like, well, now it's not going to make, like, there's not going to be any stakes because it's like, it's going to be an insignificant thing to me.
I think the stakes...
Because it's like an illusion now.
Yeah, I get that. I think the stakes are free choice.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what's happening. They're fighting for free choice at this point. So I don't know. I can see where some people are like, oh no, it's awesome, like it's super cool. But for me personally, it's just weird. Like when you have a story, you need to have a goal in mind, and the goal keeps changing. And so for the heroes or whatever, this should be a path, and adversity and stuff like that. And it's just like, it feels like they're kind of, it's just a lot of gray, and it's a little convoluted at the top with these timekeepers. So it'll be interesting to see how they do it, because I'm not too sure myself, how they're going to make it awesome. So I don't know. Mick, what did you think?
I guess I didn't mind that particular fight scene
Really?
that much. I thought it was pretty funny when he got his hand bit off, like by
By the alligator. Alligator
the
Loki.
alligator. But I do have like the similar concerns that you guys have with like what are the stakes going to be, like what like these 3 Marvel shows that have come out, WandaVision, Falcon, Winter Soldier, and now this one, Loki. The ending and kind of the whole show altogether had been kind of like almost a letdown. Like it was like, and it's starting to feel like this one's going to go that same way for me. I mean, I don't want to start thinking that something amazing or crazy is going to happen at the very end, because I highly doubt it's going to be that way.
They had, when he first gets taken, and they have these videos and like history about, why the timekeepers are doing what they're doing, like that it was too chaotic having infinite, timelines, and that they're doing this for the good of, existence, because it's just too crazy with time travel and stuff like that. I'm starting to think, are they doing the right thing? Because is it good to have as many timelines? I don't know. It seems very complicated. And so, like I said, if it's not a clear direction that they're going, it's going to be a lot of loose ends, and I'm not too sure about that. So we'll see.
I think what's going to happen is this is going to be a way to bring Loki back and keep him around in the MCU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they're like, we killed him.
Yeah.
We killed him in Thanos, and man, but people really love him. So now he's kind of learned from this, and so now he's going to come back and be a good guy.
Yeah.
Because I think
That's what they're setting up.
They even set that up with the original Loki being like, I missed my brother, and I wanted to see, that's why they caught me, I wanted to see. And you could tell, okay, they're making that connection. Like that. So then he's going to come back and be a hero.
Yeah.
And they're going to use this Loki that's going to be out of time to be able to go back in the timeline and be like, I'm a good person now because I know what love is, because I love myself.
Oh,
basically.
Nice.
Right? And
then
then
that's what I'm saying.
And then it's like, oh, well, Loki's now part of the Avengers. I think that's just what the whole point of this is like retcon his death in a way so that they can put him back in.
Dude, can you imagine they made this story choice based on like Hiddleston re-signing and be like, oh yeah, I'm good for like 10 more.
Yeah.
Like,
I go, okay.
Oh, let's get you back in. Can you imagine? We'll never know. But like, I think
that makes sense.
I think you're probably right.
Because they've even mentioned in the episode, they even mention it. I think it's the original Loki's like, oh, we're Lokis, we can never change. And so he says things like, oh, I'm trying to, or whatever. So that's been the whole point. He's trying to set it up. I like that idea, but for me, it hasn't been earned yet. Like, and I don't think he's going to earn it in the last episode, because we got one left. So I don't think it's earned. I don't think the relationship with himself,
he's got to kiss himself to earn it,
is earned either. Like, I feel like it just came out of nowhere in that last episode where they're like, we're going to hold hands, and that created a nexus.
Well, I think that's how they're going to do it. He's going to create a massive nexus by him kissing himself. Like, because they already established them touching was like a spike. Them fully kissing is going to be like what destroys whoever is controlling this time thing, and it's going to break free everything. I think that's what it's going for.
Really?
I think that's it.
Them kissing themselves, like themselves.
The other thing, my problem with Loki and certain characters in the MCU is that they're not consistent. I felt like they didn't have enough time like in the second episode or third episode, he's off with Sylvie. And so he doesn't build his relationship with Mobius. When Mobius catches him, they're like arguing. He's like, you were never. He's like, I'm so disappointed in you, all this stuff. They have this terrible thing. And then Mobius gets at what we thought killed. And Loki's reaction is like, oh my gosh, they killed him. He's like all distraught. And I was like, you were just arguing with that guy. Like, you hung out with him 2 days. You were angry that he captured you, that he didn't believe you, that it was a lie. And now when he does the fake death, we're supposed to feel that you feel anything. And then the same thing, he sees Mobius in the other realm, and you're supposed to feel like, you know, you're my favorite Loki, all this stuff. I'm like,
and they hug.
I'm like, you haven't had any you haven't had any character time together to where I actually believe, because the whole time you were with him, you were lying to him and trying to manipulate him. Yeah. So to me, it's like that kind of stuff just feels like, how am I supposed to be buying this? It just feels like it's
like what I've said before. It's hard to buy things emotionally with Loki because he doesn't do what normal people do. He hides it and he acts a certain way. Right. But it's like it's supposed to be a candid moment when he dies, and it's like nothing out of him. Yeah. So he's not trying to impress or fool anyone and hide that he, was sad that he died, but he didn't. Yeah. I'm with you on that. I think that it's hard to do character development really quickly, but you also have an hour every, 45 minutes every episode. That's a lot of time.
Well, and that's what, going back to what Mick said. Mick was saying, I wish they would have spent more time like going back in time and investigating certain things with Mobius. I feel like if they would have done that a little longer,
they'd have to have more episodes.
Then I would have been able to get more invested into their relationship. But it felt like he's lying the whole time. After 2 episodes, he's gone. He comes back 2 episodes later. They're arguing. Mobius is dead. Yeah. And then it's like...
it's basically... Like, that to me was, like, the strong point of the show. And the part that interested me the most was, like, that kind of buddy cop deal with Owen Wilson and Loki.
Was WandaVision 8 episodes?
They've all been 8 episodes, I think.
Yeah, I think no, because this one's 6, and so
WandaVision was
Winter
8.
Soldier
Winter Soldier was 6.
So I think if they would have done 8, you get 2 episodes of them building chemistry, going on adventures, then it's earned. And
WandaVision was also shorter episodes.
So
yeah, that's true.
Mobius is probably out now because he's leaving.
I don't know. I think
he'll be back for the last episode.
My question is, will we have a payout with the ski-doos, jet skis?
There's got to be a scene.
The last scene is going to be Mobius on a jet ski,
riding his jet ski,
and Loki's going to look at him and he's just going to nod and be like, "Oh, we're
he's
friends."
On the beach,
and he's going to like go with his family or something. I don't know.
Did you guys see the Thanos chopper?
Yeah, there was a bunch of because there was.
Oh my gosh, there was so many
Frog Thor.
Easter,
Throg. Yeah.
Throg. Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
There was a ton of little Easter eggs in this last episode.
Yeah. You could just watch it in slow-mo and just see a ton.
Oh, yeah, basically.
But anyway, that was
the season finale is Wednesday, so we'll see what happens.
What did you guys think of that giant like Marvel evil cloud thing? I feel like we haven't had a giant cloud villain in a comic book movie in a while.
I think it was better than some of the other ones
I think it's good.
Yeah,
but
I don't have a problem with it.
At least there was like some type of form.
Yeah,
at least face.
And the aspect that it was kind of just protecting whoever's
something
in the castle, which is I don't know, in the comics it's like the ancient timekeeper or something like that. I don't know what it is, but
I was fine with that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Remind me of James and the Giant Peach with that cloud rhino thing.
Never seen it.
Oh, it's a weird movie.
James and the Giant Peach. Is that stop motion?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch it because of that.
Kind of like I hate anime.
Well,
exactly.
It's like a fake hate. Yeah, exactly.
Cool. All right.
So we'll look forward to that next week.
Yeah,
that's right.
Last episode's next week,
right? See how it goes.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So last thing for this week, Black Widow just came out, and we all watched it together last night.
We did.
Just shelled out the $30 extra.
Yeah, thank you, Mick.
At least
Disney
it wasn't
Plus.
15 times 4. Yeah,
that's right. So thank you, Mick, for
thanks, Mick,
for allowing us to watch that movie.
I'm so glad I own that movie.
It's your favorite movie, right?
I stream it as long as I pay for Disney Plus.
So what did you guys think? Josh, we'll start with you.
Okay. Wow.
How about, okay, here's what we'll do. Let's go around and we'll say the things we liked about the movie.
Yeah.
And then
Good.
we'll then after everyone goes around and share something we liked, then we'll go around and say things we disliked, and then at the end we'll say our thing. So Josh, go ahead. What did you like? What did you like from Black Widow?
I feel like I need like a speaking conch or something. Like when I'm holding the conch, I can speak. That was a nice setup.
What did you like?
It was okay. Oh shoot!
What did you like?
Like positive things.
Sorry.
You
What
screwed
did
up
you like?
already.
What did you like?
I like the intro. Was good.
Okay.
I like new Black Widow.
Oh, by the way, we're gonna spoil the movie.
Spoilers,
So
yeah.
if you haven't seen it and you want to watch it, I just gotta throw it out there. Full
I mean, we already
spoilers.
spoiled all the other
You can
things we
pause
talked
it,
about.
go watch it, come back, or if you can listen to us spoil it and then watch it, you might have a better time.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know. Florence Pugh is the actress. I can't remember what her name was. Yeah, she's cool. I thought she did a good
The
job.
sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else did I like? David Harbour.
Just generally.
Just in general, you put David
Red Riot. What's his name? Crimson
Red Guardian.
Defender. Yeah, there you go.
You put David Harbour in any movie, and I'm automatically gonna like it probably 20% more.
Wow.
So you like Suicide Squad 20%?
Yeah, he's in it for like 2 seconds, and I'm like, okay,
20% is huge.
yeah, I really like David Harbour. Yeah,
Good Harbor buff.
All right, Corey.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah, positive.
Okay, so
I don't want to take up all the time.
positives, right? Got to move past all the negatives. Yeah, so we already said. I think we all like the intro.
Yeah, we might as well all say the intro is for me the best part of the movie.
Yeah. So the intro is really cool, and man, I was like, all right, we're going off on the right foot. I'm looking forward to it now. And then, yeah. Other things, yeah, I did like the sister. She was cool. I think that her emotions and stuff like that were properly shown, and it made sense. You know, she didn't really have a family at all. And kind of how she felt and how she acted made sense. Scarlett Johansson wasn't bad. She was fine. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, gosh. I'm trying to think of things I like. Okay.
I didn't believe that at all.
Some of the effects were cool. Even though it some of it didn't make sense, like when the whole base was falling, when they were doing some of the fighting, like while it was falling and like landing on the things, that was cool. Yeah, I think that's basically it.
Okay.
Like I said, intro really good, guys. I really liked it.
Yeah, I would say the intro is really good. Like Dave said, I liked David Harbour. I liked the sister, Florence Pugh's character. And I thought the music was better than most Marvel movies as far as the soundtrack. Not the song choice they used. That was a negative for me.
The Nirvana.
We're not there yet.
But
Hey,
the soundtrack,
say
the
negative.
soundtrack with the Russian like choir and people singing and stuff like that. I thought that was a cool mix that they did. That's it for me. And the other thing I'll say is not as much cringy Marvel humor. I thought that was a positive. There was humor in it, but I felt that there wasn't as many eye rolls for me when I'm like, oh, here comes a joke. Oh, that was a lame joke kind of thing. So to me, that was like, it was light on that. So I thought that was good.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this sounded like a broken record, but I like the intro. Like Jonas said, I like the music a lot. I like the sister.
I love Lamp.
I love Lamp. I thought the set pieces were really cool.
I thought the prison was cool.
The prison was cool.
I like that interaction when he was just destroying people with the arm wrestling, and that really big guy was like making fun of him. He's like, or he was trying to lie to him. What was it?
He was calling him a liar.
Yeah. And bang, he just broke his arm. That was cool. Cool.
Yeah.
So we can move on to negative.
Yeah.
Go ahead, shoot. Just keep going around the circle.
All right, negatives. I I just don't like Scarlett Johansson. So that's probably a big issue for me coming in.
That's a tough one.
I don't think she's as bad as... I don't care about Black Widow. I mean, she's probably the lamest Avenger.
Lamer than Hawkeye.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Way lamer than Hawkeye.
Okay.
I like Hawkeye better than Black Widow. Also, how lame is it that her superhero name is the name for everybody? She's like the Black Widows.
That's
and they're like,
weird.
hey, my name's Black Widow.
That is
Take
weird.
the S off.
That is
Yeah.
weird.
She's the Black Widow.
That is weird. Yeah.
Anyway, as far as the movie goes, I just felt like some of the interactions between Scarlett Johansson and other characters didn't really make sense. Like her friend that's kind of showing up randomly.
Yeah, where's that guy been?
He's a kind of a pointless character.
There can be new characters. I'm just letting you guys
Yeah,
know that. There
that's
can
true.
be new
But
characters.
at that point, I was kind of like, hey,
Well,
he's
they,
in, whatever.
the things they were saying was like, we should have known him.
Yes, they pushed it
Like,
too
why
much.
aren't
Where
you
she's
my
like,
friend?
"You're
It's
my
like,
best, like
what is going
your
on?
family, like all this stuff."
Yeah.
To me, that I was just
No.
like, "How come? Where's this guy?"
Presumptuous of you.
Like-
that we
Like
gave
if there
you
had
this
been
guy.
stuff in previous movies where
Yes.
you
Yes.
like hear her like on an intercom or something talking to this mysterious guy, and then we finally figure out who it is, that would have been different. But it was
They
just
tried
like
to make it seem like they had this really great relationship and
right,
had
it was
been
just
around
like,
forever, and then it's
the
like,
heck is this?
yeah, it would have been better if it would have just been her talking to some guy, like, "Hey, I just dropped off some. Here are the coordinates to this place. Oh, by the way, I left you a little present there." Like, because it was just like
Dookie.
I was just gonna say,
like or like, "Hey, there's the jet. I dropped off the jet for you," because it just felt like you're trying too hard to make this guy be like so attached to you.
Didn't he get his own poster too?
He did. Yeah, I sent that to you. I was like, "How did this guy get his own character poster?"
yeah. I feel like the second act into the third act kind of just lost me. I was at that point, I didn't really care what was happening. Some of the other stuff was fine, but yeah, it just kind of lost me. I think there were multiple times where one of us or multiple of us were like, "Wait, what? Like, what just happened?" Oh, okay. But yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got, Corey?
That would basically bring me to my things that I really had a big issue with was things didn't make sense. There were a lot of things that just didn't make any sense. I was like, really? Like a lot of reallys, like, really that happened? Or that's how they solved that? That kind of stuff. And then a lot of like some of the lines I hated. like obviously we talked about this last night, but like the pocket stuff with the jacket, maybe that hits better with someone else. But for me, I was like, yo, we're spending a lot of time on this. This is weird.
If we watched it in theaters, dude, I guarantee you we'd be
Laughs.
laughing.
Yeah.
Laughing it up.
And then there was some it was too bad because I think they wasted the sister's potential. The sister, like that actress, she had a lot of potential and she did great with what she was given. But yeah, just a lot of lines that she had were lame. The dad, a lot of his beats emotionally with the girls, they were just a big miss for me. Yeah. It was interesting that they had the whole plan thing with the mom and she saw that the book was there. She held on to the book somehow, and that she
Of fake pictures.
The fake pictures that she still cared about them, and it's hard to connect as a viewer with something that was fake, and like maybe this connects better with like adopted people. Like they're like okay, like maybe they would like that more, but for me, no connection. No emotional anything on this movie, and I think that's a big problem.
Well,
because it's not hard to emotionally attach people to stuff.
Even with what you're saying, it was weird to me. It kind of goes with the Loki thing, but like this stuff doesn't make sense because they want you to believe that they do have a connection, but every time the dad, like he sees the girls, right, and he's like. He's still talking. The first thing he says is like, does Captain America talk about me? Right? So he doesn't really care about them. They save him. And then he like goes and they have the dinner scene where they're all.
I think that's an attempt at humor.
Yeah. Well,
and I think it super missed the mark and instead it hurt the relationship.
Yes, because then you go in and then he's like trying to talk to her and he's like missing the mark all over. And then he sings the song to her, and that's like, oh, well, he does remember that. So, but I was like, he never see moments where he cares for them. Even when they're like getting injected in the neck, he's like, oh, that's their job. That's what they got to do. Yeah. And the mom, the same thing. She sees them, and she calls the red room. Like, but then later on, you're like, oh, but I kept the photo thing. Then why'd you call the red room?
No, because that's the way to get to the red room. No, that made sense.
Well, but she didn't do it for that. She called him because, oh, they're here, right? And then later, once she's convinced, then she makes that decision. But I was like, if you cared for them, then you would have waited before calling the red room to talk to them and figure out why they're there. But you don't. So to me, those kind of things,
for sure.
It was like you're turning on a dime. And to me, that's like a typical Marvel thing.
I think they chalk up some of the awkward stuff from the dad to, I'm simple man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they think that it's like this free pass to do whatever they want with him and just kind of not even think through his lines because he's simple man. It's like, no, even simple men can have feelings, you know, and they can still express it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. What about
what do you got? We'll just go. Keep it negative.
Yeah.
Stay negative.
Yeah, a lot of the motivation of the characters to me was confusing and all over the place. Like you guys said, the family aspect in the beginning, it was like, do they care about the kids? Do they care about each other? I guess not. And then later when they meet back up, it's like they do care, but they don't care. It just it seemed like it kept going back and forth, and to me it was just confusing. Maybe I was like completely misunderstanding what they were trying to do, but it was just like hard to follow exactly what the characters wanted from each other. Even the sisters. So the sisters, when they meet as adults, they start like fighting and they're like trying to kill each other. They're choking each other out. And then it's, called truce. And then they just stop and they're fine. Like, I don't understand like what type of relationship they have, like they hadn't seen each other in a long time. And it was just confused. A lot of the movie was just confusing to me.
There was never a moment where either parent said why they did it, right? It was always an excuse of like, you're strong girls. I think if there would have been a moment when he's in the room, right? He tells a story to the younger sister's character about his dad peeing on his hands, right? To not get hypothermia, right? And she's like, what does that have to do with anything? And then he sings the song, and then they come and capture them.
You're simple men. Simple men. That's why.
But if he would have said something like, the reason I did it is because of this, right? Or something like that. I just feel like nothing was ever given. It was just like, this is what, like, you're strong. You've killed so many people. There's so much blood on your ledger. Like, simple man. Where you're just kind of like, what? And then the thing, not that that's the baffling part. The baffling part is that then Black Widow and the other girl are like, sweet, that's fine. Let's go do this together. And then at the end of the movie, they're like, they all hug. And it's like, oh, glad we did this, right? But it just feels like, again, like the swings and the changes of emotion and what characters perceive of each other switches minute to minute.
It seemed like
no good explanation.
The story was pushing the characters. The characters weren't in charge of the story. Like, if the story wanted the characters to be this way, they would change and be that way. Yeah. That's the way it felt to me.
I think
it just wasn't organic.
Yeah, I think a big problem with the movie is that, and maybe just like whoever was the writer or whatever, I feel like they had a lot of like, I don't know, like maybe there was some implied things that we were supposed to catch because of what they were like doing. But I feel like a lot of those were probably just missed by us because it wasn't clear at all. And so in writing, you really want to show, not tell, primarily. And I felt like they just messed that up. I think they were trying to show a lot, but it just missed the mark big time. Because if the dad was just like, oh, yes, I was trying to protect you guys, and I actually really do love you. Instead of just saying it, which is a weaker story choice, showing that he cares, showing like sacrifice did he ever sacrifice?
No one dies either.
Show sacrifice, like show them putting themselves at risk for the girls. Like, I don't know. This is like basic storytelling. And
I thought at least that the sister would die.
Really?
But there was nothing.
I don't know.
There didn't seem to be any stakes.
Yeah.
Taskmaster was garbage. Like, to me, it was just like a mess.
Taskmaster has more character development
reveal,
in the Spider-Man PS4 game.
The switch of the reveal, and that was like, and the fact that Black Widow blows up a little girl in her past life, and then that girl is completely fine.
She tanked it.
Hey, her face is messed up.
Oh no.
But like that girl should be in pieces.
You're freaking
right?
alive.
When
she wasn't even that gross.
Right. Yeah. And then
he was like, you can't look at her, can you? And she's like,
then he's like, you made like what you did made the greatest. Right. So I assumed that she was brain dead. Right? That she couldn't. That's why she had to have he kept her like a Frankenstein. Yeah. She's just a program. But then she gets hit with the magic dust, and then it's like, oh, we're gonna keep her. She's fine. To me, it's like, no, you can't do that. The reason they did that is to kind of ease the fact that Black Widow murdered a little girl.
I liked
they did it
better when she murdered the little girl.
Yes,
I thought that was more interesting
because it makes her.
She was
all
like
of her actions after that. She's like mean more.
She's like, I'm so desperate to get away from this guy that she was collateral damage.
Yeah.
That's a more interesting story point for me than. Oh, everything's fine now. And I got to
apologize. I got to apologize because your dad was the bad one.
Well, that makes him better as a villain too, because he pushed her all the way to killing a kid. Yeah. That's the only way out. And now it's like, she good.
Yeah, it's all good.
And also, that Taskmaster character is no different than any other of the Black Widows, except for she has this heads-up display thing.
Yeah,
she has a cool sword.
Taskmaster in the comics is an actual different character where he has this ability to memorize and duplicate, like down to the letter, people's fighting styles. And
she could do that.
I know, but I'm saying that
but she did it because it was a program. And his is like he's just a
well, I think he
fighter.
implies that it's not only the program because he's like, oh, all she does is stare now, and she can memorize. So I think he's saying, but I mean, it's a throwaway line. And honestly, it sounds like you think they wasted Taskmaster.
I think so.
Movie. Like,
I mean, and there always seems to be like a cool way around trying to defeat a guy that can do exactly what you can do, and like
it's
tons of other characters.
Deathstroke in Batman is similar, where he's like he copies Batman's
Shadow Link in Zelda.
He copies Batman's fighting style, and so Batman has to figure out how do I get around, But it's like two people figuring out each other as opposed to this is just a program. I'm just gonna fight exactly like you.
Right, and then at the end, Black Widow just defeats Taskmaster because the story needs that to happen,
right?
And so that she can apologize,
right, and
feel good about
it. It just
herself.
didn't seem like it got to that point in a way that makes sense.
Yes,
like it just happened.
Yeah, and then
the pheromone thing.
Oh gosh,
was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
Your nose.
Well, so in the movie we were watching it, and she's like, oh yeah, he has a pheromone thing, and she explains it, and I just said, I was like, why doesn't she just plug her nose?
So the main villain, she's face to face with the guy that's running the Red Room, running the Black Widows, controlling them all over the world, and she pulls a gun out and points it at his head, and he's like, go ahead, shoot, and she can't pull the trigger, and he grabs a gun from her, shoots it, and then she tries to punch him, and he's like, you can't. She's like, why can't I hit you? And he's like, because I have pheromones, and as long as you can smell me, you can't do any harm to me. And Corey was like, plug your nose! Because it's like, what?
But then, like 2 seconds later in the movie, they explain that it's not that easy because science.
Because there's a nerve in your
There's
forehead.
a nerve. You have to sever the nerve in order
Sever the nerd edge.
Sever the nerve in order to not smell the pheromones. It's just a completely like silly.
And so
thing.
what she did was she dislocated her nose, and apparently that severs her nerve. I didn't know that. I don't know if that's accurate, because then after all is said and done, she pops it back in place so she can have her sense of smell back. It was just such a weird.
It was silly.
I mean, we're not doctors, so it could have made total sense, but for the average viewer, it was just like such a convenient,
It's
weak.
It's a
plot
weak
device.
Story. Yeah, it's so weak.
Yeah.
So as you can tell, we all love the movie.
So yeah,
what about our scores?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. I give it 4 knuckleheads out of 10 knuckleheads.
4 knuckleheads. Those are the writers, right?
That's right.
What's a knucklehead?
4 out of what?
4 out of 10.
Okay. I'll give it 5 David Harbors out of 10.
The 20% buff. I give it a 5 because I didn't walk away from the movie or like get on my phone. I was watching it and I was like generally enjoying the visuals, and I had a decent time, and I was with you guys, so it was a good time.
20% buff. Yeah.
20% buff with friends. True.
Yeah, I'd give it a 4 out of 10.
So you disliked it.
I would say
5 is an
I
average
did not
movie.
like that movie.
4 is bad movie.
I was expecting
so you're
and
happy
hoping
about your $30 purchase?
Yeah, dude, I'm so happy. I was expecting and hoping a movie more in line with like the Bourne movies, or even some of the better James Bond movies. To me, it just seemed like,
Or like Winter Soldier.
or even Winter Soldier. Even I thought Winter Soldier was a better espionage spy movie than
Winter Soldier
Black Widow.
good. Actually, Winter Soldier.
Yeah. So yeah, 4 out of 10.
Too confusing, too weak plot points. It was just generally not a strong movie, unfortunately.
Oh, and this what? Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that there was so much potential with this movie too, with characters like David Harbour's character, and it just a lot of them just fell flat.
So maybe you guys can help me, because I was thinking about this last night. As part of, I say that Marvel characters kind of, they're not consistent. What happens to Black Widow? Because she seems to have...
She dies.
No, I know she dies. But what I'm saying is...
watch that movie, actually.
What I'm saying is...
Oh, yeah, you wouldn't know.
They built up her relationship with the Hulk, right? They have like a romantic relationship kind of thing, where she's the only one that can help him, like sings him the lullaby and stuff, right? When he leaves on the jet in Age of Ultron, she's the one that's trying to look for him, right? And then all of a sudden that's gone, and she's like, kind of has the hots for Hawkeye, but it's not really there because he was given a family and he has a wife. So the whole thing that happens where she sacrifices herself, I'm like, where did the whole thing happen with the Hulk? Like, did that ever get resolved with their romantic relationship that they had going in Avengers and Avengers Age of Ultron?
I don't think it was a romantic relationship.
With her and the Hulk?
It kind of was.
Yeah, it definitely was.
She was singing
They
to
made
him.
out.
Did they kiss?
Yeah, they made out.
Yeah.
And then that's...
She even said, like, let's run away together. Like, let's be together.
and then
Be
that's
best friends together. That's what she said.
That's never said anything. And
be
then
a platonic
Hulk's kind of
relationship.
replaced with Hawkeye to give like the emotional, like sacrificial thing. Anyways, I thought about that yesterday. I was like, hey, that doesn't make sense.
The answer is it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it does.
I mean,
not make sense.
Okay.
yeah.
Well, thanks for clearing that up, guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess so. The end credit scene, the sister was looking at the grave of Black Widow, and then
Elaine shows up.
So what's her character? Val.
Yes.
She was in Falcon and Winter Soldier. It seems like she's recruiting a bunch of people to be on this other Avengers type team, probably like the Thunderbolts or the Dark Avengers or whatever they're going to be, but it's going to be like seems to be more anti-hero.
So Loki's going to be the leader of the...
Honestly, I could see that.
Thunderbolts.
She'll be at the end of Loki showing up, being like, hey, we need you.
Yeah.
Son of a gun.
Son of a James Gunn. Yeah. whatever.
Yeah, that's basically what it was. It was like, whatever.
Is the Hawkeye show next?
They're filming. I don't know if it's next.
So next year then, probably?
I think that one's next year. It's either next year or at the end of this year. I think the next Marvel show is going to be the What If, but in terms of like the character shows, I think that one is next.
Okay.
This is the next live action.
Yeah.
Live action.
What other shows are they doing?
What was that?
Turtle Man. You don't remember Turtle Man?
Oh my gosh, Turtle Man! What?
How did you forget that? How did you forget Turtle Man?
I don't know how.
You guys ever watch that show, Turtle Man?
Turtle Man is so good, dude.
Look up Turtle Man.
Okay.
It's like a backwoods redneck that would, what was he, an exterminator, basically?
He would go and like
Wait,
get
is this a
possums and
show
alligators.
or a
Yeah.
YouTube.
It was
No,
a
it's
show.
a show.
Okay.
On Discuss.
Are you saying Turtle
Man.
Turtle Man?
Because he would go and like catch turtles and like snapping
Snakes
turtles and snakes, but he like do it all barehanded and he didn't have any teeth. And so
Is this a cartoon?
his name was No, it's a real man.
Oh.
And he'd go.
He's a real man.
They'd be filming and he'd go live action. Yee! No?
Oh, man.
Turtle Man. Someone knows who Turtle Man is listening right now.
I know.
You
I forgot. I can't believe I forgot Turtle Man. I'm going to get a Turtle Man tattoo. So I don't forget.
Was that like an Animal Planet show or
It was
something?
something like that. Like
Probably.
Discovery or something like that.
That's great, man.
Oh, live action, dude.
Anyways,
So
that was Black Widow.
and next week you can look forward to our episode 1 of Turtle Man review.
Dude, it'll be a sick watch, but we should do it.
Live action, or whatever you said.
Well, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere you are online. I guess.
Everywhere. Facebook, YouTube. Are we on Twitter?
Yeah, we're on Twitter. I think we have like one follower, which
Instagram?
is me. Me and Crystal.
I follow on
okay.
Twitter.
Me too.
Oh, okay.
We follow ourselves.
Sweet.
That's right.
I don't have a Twitter, so I'll make a Twitter and follow us.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Adios.
Yay!